So the sage says, the wise one stands alone, caring for nothing, bereft of possessions. He goes where he will, unhindered by opposites. His doubts rent asunder. His doubts rent asunder. He is truly blessed. The wise one stands alone, caring for nothing means not that he becomes uncaring, it's just that the self is unconcerned by any play of the phenomenal world. So, as if the self is unconcerned, yet in the outer expression, usually what happens is that I've said often that when true spirituality meets the world, it is met with kindness, it is met with compassion, it is met with love. Usually, even these benchmarks we cannot make, but usually in the presence of a sage, we experience it on our own, isn't it? You go to Ramana Ashram, you meet Guruji, automatically you will feel something, is it? In the presence of a sage. So it's not this kind of unconcerned awe, not a derisive sort of letting go of the world, which is like this world is useless, it's pointless, who are you people, you don't even exist. See, not like that. It is met with, usually met with compassion, usually met with love, and knowing fully well that everything that moves in this universe is a play of consciousness, is therefore the will of God. So it's not in opposition to anything that might be appearing, including the responses which come from the body itself. Even that is included in the appearance of the world. So that way, so that's why it says the wise one stands alone, caring for nothing. He says unconcerned. Whatever might happen, you know that it's God's will, you know, is the will of consciousness. Therefore, this individual sense of doership, the individual sense of individual identity, the separation, all of this is not picked up. Bereft of possessions, he goes where he will. What does this mean? Not that the sage doesn't have anything. The outwardly play, they can have a house, they can have a family. So what is empty of possessions? Really, it means empty of attachments to them. This idea of me and mine is not there. So this we are empty of. The sage can, like Janaka himself after this, continue to run the kingdom. He had a palace. All the possessions, he possessed a kingdom. And yet was empty of them. How? Just this. What is that linkage between the appearance of the world and that which we consider ourselves to be? This idea of me and mine. What would your life be if there was no such idea as me and therefore no such idea of mine? And you find that nothing can truly come which makes you suffer. Everything is God's, including this body. And can you have a problem? That is devotion, that is surrender. Everything is God's, including actions, including words that happen here. Everything is God's. And everything is whose problem? God's problem. When we pick up something, and this I have to do, or this is my problem, we're picking up what identity? The identity of the ego which we cannot find. This one is the idea of our limitation. Because if it is all God's, then who must God be? If there is a you, what must you be? Now to the mind this sounds like a very arrogant statement. Actually it is not arrogant. Arrogance is the idea that I can be separate from God. So either we say we possess nothing, or we say everything is I. It's the same thing actually, because in neither there is separation. The me and the other is not happening. Either we say everything is God, or we say that I am everything. It's the same thing. So this, then all these relationship and all these struggles, problems. Absolutely. Who is the one who is the owner of relationships? So possessions also includes relationships. We possess our relationships in a way. We possess not just worldly objects. In fact, more troublesome possessions sometimes can be these things that we feel like we possess as people, as relationships. So we see that there is no individual I like that to possess anything at all. All is one. And we are not moving from one belief system to a new belief system. So we're not replacing just a concept, I am this individual person. You see, I am the body mind, with another concept, you are God. So that concept, just as a concept itself, is useless. Better not to pick it up actually, because as the spiritual ego, it will cause even more trouble. So we go from this concept of I am this individual entity to the recognition that there is only one. Whatever we call it, whether we call it God or we call it the self. So in that way, that is why the sage can say the wise one stands alone. Doesn't stand alone, and it's like the wise one becomes very lonely. They're just sitting alone, nobody wants to talk to them. It's not like that. The wise one stands alone because they realize only I am. There is nobody else. The appearance of this body and the appearance of every body is part of one consciousness, one being. See, that one, that way they are. Not in the worldly corporate way that is lonely at the top. So the sage has got to the top of the mountain, so poor thing is he or she is standing alone. That's why good to have these sessions, because sometimes when we read these words, we can get misunderstandings about them. See, I must then go live in a cave because I must be alone, because I want to be this wise one. See, not alone in that way. The self is only one. That is why it is Advaita, not two. Literally, Advaita means not two. Caring for nothing. Again, lot of potential for misunderstanding here. It's not that, oh, I don't care for any of you, or the sage is now saying, oh, are you? You are just a bucket of flesh and blood. Go away from me, or something like that. The sage is not saying that. The world is usually met with a lot of caring in different expressions, of course, but it is unconcerned with what fears they used to have. I wish my life only goes this way. I hope this doesn't happen. And once you see that only consciousness is, then you see that all is a will of consciousness. Then you're not resisting what is appearing in life. In acceptance of that, including the responses that come. Why I make it a point to say, including the responses and reactions that come with this body, is because many times when we hear we must accept life, then we become like cheap. Like, we feel like, oh, the body must just be like this. We like that. It's not about this. Acceptance even for the movement of this body. Even if something comes and it feels strong and a strong reaction comes from here, you don't pick up guilt about it. This is not an Advaita excuse for bad behavior, by the way. But just seeing that, to see that everything is happening, everything is a movement in consciousness, and to see that everything includes this body, these words, these hand movements. See this for yourself. How these words are coming. Is there an Ananta sitting here doing them? It might seem like it, but it is not true. They're just emerging. And the hearing of them is happening in the same way, even through these senses, as it might be happening through those senses. There truly is nobody individually saying these words. They can seem to belong to some mythical Ananta. He goes where he will, unhindered by opposites. His doubts rent asunder. He is truly blessed. So that again reminds me of that beautiful interaction in Satsang with Papaji, my master's master. is Punjaji, affectionately called Papaji. So Papaji, somebody came to him and they said, like, sitting over there, he said, I don't see God. Show me God, I don't see God. Papaji said to him, don't doubt. Doubt is false. Don't is doubt. What do you see? So this one said again, I don't see God. But first it can sound like it's wordplay. He's just playing with words. How can removing don't show me God? But try. Just try. Just remove the don't, remove the but, remove the if, remove all these doubts and see what is. The wise one has no sense of mind. To him, earth, stone, and gold are the same. The knots of his heart have unraveled. He knows neither ignorance nor sorrow. He is excellent in every way. He is excellent in every way. The wise one has no sense of mind. To him, earth, stone, and gold are the same. Now, again, there is scope for misunderstanding when this is heard. So it might feel like once I see that there is no separation, it might feel like this whole world becomes like one blurry appearance. If there is a stone in your hand, you can't make out the difference between stone and gold. It's not like that. We're still talking about attachments here. When the sense of mind is taken away, then whatever is appearing is accepted as God's gift, as the prasad from God, the appearance within the play, whichever way we want to look at it. Then we're not picking and choosing our next experience. We're not saying, what's next? Guruji says this very beautifully. The mind is constantly proposing something next. He says, when lunch is here, the mind is already thinking about what am I going to eat for dinner? So this, what's next? Okay, I came to this experience now, what's next? So this holding on to experiences, saying that I want something to be mine, and I want, or I don't want them to appear, is a misunderstanding. That which is appearing and disappearing is all moving with this supreme intelligence of consciousness. Like I say more simply, God is the ultimate chef, and He is not messing up your recipe. Yeah. Constantly we have this bemoaning attitude. God, why are you doing this to me? Making the hash out of our life. And then, once you start to see that everything is a play of consciousness, then you will find that the boundary line which you have defined between yourself and God itself starts to fade away. Then you will come to a point where you say, one experiencer, one doer. There are no two. And then one day you might even come to this point where you say, I am that which witnesses even the play of this doer experience. Even consciousness comes and goes. As far as I am concerned in reality, again I'm saying all the clues for this discovery are present here. All the clues are here. What is that witness that witnesses all things? Can that itself be witnessed? What is it that remains unchanging? Everything else is changing. Everything is changing. What remains unchanging? They point to the same thing, all these clues. But the only thing is, the one clue you always have to remember is don't expect to find a thing. Don't expect to find something sitting there. The self. I will come to the self and it will be so beautiful. It will have all the colors within itself. It will, but not in the way that you're expecting it to. It will be empty of all qualities. Yet all qualities emerge from that. This is a discovery that all of you are making. We have some 11 or 12 clues now. So one assignment I had given some time ago, and some of you have joined after that, is that one evening a set of these just clues got tabulated here, which is before going to sleep. I made a list of all of them. Then I gave it as a homework assignment, which was to look at these clues and look at the verses in Ashtavakra Gita and say which verses are pointing to this clue. So you are the eternal witness. You're the one solitary witness. So what is that? What is the one solitary witness which is looking at all things? Then you are without any boundary, without limitations. I am the one shoreless ocean in which the arc of the universe rises and falls. All these verses are there. What are they pointing to? The self in this way. So many times you might feel like, when I say look for the witness, you might feel like, oh, there's a entity over there, a supernatural entity which is the witness. But then another clue is there, that it is boundless. So an entity must have a boundary. So what is it? What witnesses even this idea of entity? It's that which is boundless. Then you might come to this idea that I am something which awakens in the waking state and goes to sleep. What is it? The clue, that which is the unchanging reality. What witnesses all of these states also coming and going. Waking, dream, sleep, turiya, any state that you might be having. What witnesses that? All the clues are there, pointing to your reality. Don't come into any sort of mental conclusion. Don't come to any sort of conceptual idea. Your discovery will not be conceptual. In fact, mostly you will find yourself empty of words. In the outward play, most you will find that it's a difficulty to speak. Proclamations become very tough. The idea that I have found it or have not found it, both lose their relevance. The idea of what I should do now, what should I do next, seems to dissolve because you find yourself to be beyond time. And what next? You find yourself beyond the universe. So what should appear in the universe? What else is left for you to know? All this worldly knowing loses its relevance, but it can continue to be part of the play alone. The liberated soul has no desire in his heart. He is content and indifferent. He has no equal. Basically, we've discussed most of this. He has no equal because there is only one. There are no two. Only one, free of desire, knows nothing of knowing. Only one free of desire knows nothing of knowing. Says nothing needs saying. Knows nothing of knowing. Says nothing needs saying. Sees nothing to see. Only one free of desire knows nothing of knowing. Says nothing needs seeing. Sees nothing to see. It's quite clear. He who is without desire excels, be he beggar or king. He no longer sees good or bad. Excels not in the worldly or corporate form of excellence, Just everything is so full of wonder. So look at it more as, rather than as excels, we can look at it more as wonder, wonderful. What is lust or restraint, or the desire for truth? To the yogi who has reached life's goal and who embodies virtue and sincerity. What is lust or restraint, or the desire for truth? For the yogi who has reached life's goal and who embodies virtue and sincerity. So this, what is the goal? As the sage is saying, find this which is beyond this worldly play. So what is the sage pointing at? The sage is saying, don't waste too much time trying to overcome lust or try to overcome these tendencies which seem to exist in this worldly play. Find out who you are. Find the truth which is beyond all of these, and these will themselves settle down, take care of themselves, and be seen as a very natural functioning of the human existence. The inner experience of one who is free of desire and suffering, who is content and reposes in self, how can it be described, and of whom? The inner experience of one who is free of desire and suffering, who is content and reposes in self, how can it be described, and of whom? Self-explanatory. The wise one's state never varies, sleeping soundly. He is not asleep. Find the clues in this, really. I hope at least by now, when we are at verse 94 of chapter 18, we're able to look at what the sage is saying and look for the clues in that, because almost every verse is a pointer for your self-recognition. So he's saying, the wise one's state never varies. Sleeping soundly, he is not asleep. Lying in reverie, he is not dreaming. Eyes open, he is not wakeful. So what did we just talk about? The same thing. The states of waking, sleep, dream, any states, they are coming and going. But what is it talking about? Is it talking about the reality of you? Is your state changing? Or do you continue to be that eternal witness? Do you continue to remain that unchanging one? Do you continue to remain the boundless, shoreless ocean, empty of qualities? So whatever state might come and go. So this is not an ode to sages or something like that. You might sometimes when we read like this, we might feel like, oh, this is just paying homage to the great sages. They are so beautiful. All of this happens with them. No, they are pointers for you to see what is it there. What is your true experience? Actually, is it not this? So it is for you to find this reality for yourself. It is not to say that the sage is something special and you are far from that because for the sage all these things are happening. It is to find this for yourself and see that all of the Ashtavakra Gita is about you. What is that for you which is unconcerned by the waking state? Is there such a thing? Or no thing? Is the entirety of you just contained in the waking state? The waking state is a realm of appearances. So is the entirety of you an appearance? Are you just an appearance? Or is there something about you which is beyond the waking state, beyond these appearances? Is what we're looking for. Then when you start to make this discovery, when you start to make this discovery, then this clamor, this feverishness for more and more within this one state, it will become a struggle actually. To pick up feverishness about something within a state which is just itself appearing and disappearing. You find it a funny play. If you are not contained within it, and all is already so beautifully taken care of here, what to desire? What the sage was saying. Empty of desire and suffering. Same thing. If there is no mind, there can be no suffering. There is no idea of a limited me. The mind itself cannot be. A man of knowledge seems to think but has no thoughts. He seems to have sense perceptions but does not experience. He seems to have intelligence but is empty minded. He appears to be a person but is not. Man of knowledge seems to think but has no thoughts. Again, he does not attach to the thinker identity. Not that all thoughts have to go. He seems to have sense perceptions but does not have experience. Again, means does not take the position of the individual experiencer. Experiences are still there. All this is being tasted. There's a room full of people. It will still be tasted as an experience. But there is no individual experiencer of them. Just like there is no doer of these words. As I was saying earlier, there is no Ananta which is speaking these words. There is no experiencer which is experiencing all of this. You are just emerging in your own being. All of this is just an emergence and a disappearance in your own consciousness. So that's what it means. He seems to have sense perceptions but does not experience. Otherwise, if I don't explain it like that, they might seem to be contradictions. He seems to have intelligence but is empty-minded. What does it mean? Even after all conceptual knowing is put aside, you see whatever you seem to have known and valued so much is actually valueless in a way. And yet, in the articulation, in the uh, speaking, finding a sage using a different language, you're not finding a sage which has a completely different conceptual articulation. Still finding that seems to know a lot. You might feel like you meet a sage, you might feel like, oh, did he say I know nothing? So how do we know about this and that? He's not attached to the knower identity. He's not attached to conceptual belief system. That is what changes. And the final one is the clincher. He appears to be a person, but isn't. So the sage is that outward expression of the one who in that aspect of consciousness has come to the recognition of the unchanging self.